Welcome to the Bookers Alliance podcast, where we hold the pencil and the pencil is power. Coming at you right now is your host, Marky Mark, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Donaldson. Join us as we discuss the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling. So hang on tight, you jabronis, and enjoy the ride. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining today's episode of the Bookers Alliance podcast. Come on inside the house, bring yourself up a ringside seat, get yourself an extra comfy ringside seat this weekend, because we got a supersized episode coming at you. Get your popcorn, your soda, your whiskey, get everything you need. Frank, we're going to be here for a while, brother.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about this week. I mean, hell, what did we count? 6 shows that we got to recap between last time we recorded and now?
A lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of nonsense going on this week. And I mean, we're going to try and give you as much as we got on all of it. So settle in, get comfy. Don't think you're going to listen to us on the way to the grocery store real quick. You got to listen to us on the road this weekend. So if you're taking a road trip, save us in the save box for that, because you're going to be with us for a minute.
On the road again.
There you go. Like I said, get comfy. Lay back, let the soft sounds of the Bookers Alliance penetrate your ears.
In the power storm.
And just lay back, close your eyes, and pay attention, because we're going to give you a story and a half today.
Okay, all right. So we're going to title this episode Wrestling Overload. But before we get to everything that's going on, we got to give a shout out to the sponsor. This week's sponsor, Penelope Bourbon. Straight up weeded bourbon.
All right.
Never tried this one before, but I love the folks from Penelope. They got some good expressions in their lineup. So cheers to a lot of wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Now that's smooth.
That's for 95 proof. That's good stuff.
Yeah,
right
I don't feel the 95 proof. That was smooth. That had the right thickness. That had the right. They call it body in the tasting world.
Oh, body. Yes,
but that's got the right body on it.
You don't went on to the live conversation.
Oh well, body. I mean, we could have that conversation. Wait, hold on. That's next episode, because injured bodies. So guys, next week listen in for injured bodies. But we're gonna talk about Liv's injured body right now. Oh my God, what to be a crutch for that body? Oh, sorry.
So this is a weeder. It's what they call weeded bourbons. But dude, the taste on that's really good. I like that one.
Yeah, that, like I said, I was, it's just got the right thickness. It doesn't punch you in the gut. It has a nice smooth taste. It touches your palate just right.
A lot of honey, a lot of brown sugar, a lot of bacon spice.
It's like breakfast.
Bro,
we should have had some pancakes with this. Pour this right over some pancakes.
We need Kofi and Xavier.
Yeah, we got to get the old school New Day back. They bring us a box of pancakes and cook them jokers up. Pour this right on top of it, and Lord, we be all good and ready to go.
Speaking of cooking, let's go ahead and get into our topics today. Cooking. She was cooking up a storm, wrestling her ass off everywhere this weekend. We're talking about Sol Ruca.
Oh yeah, she put in the work.
She was
cooking. Want to talk about put in the work? That woman put in the work this weekend.
She was everywhere. Every time you turned on wrestling this weekend, you saw Sol Ruca. Look, you can already tell this is the next superstar.
Oh yeah, you don't give anybody that much exposure unless you're ready to go with them. I mean, the rocket ship's getting packed up right now. They're, as the Ultimate Warrior used to say, they're putting the jet fuel in the rocket right now, and they're gonna fly to parts of
Little warriors everywhere. So with Sol Ruca, you can tell kind of where they're aiming for. Look, they did the same thing to Stephanie Vacquet.
Yeah, Stephanie Vacquet. Way to go, Nikki. Nikki not winning the Royal Rumble or the Battle Royal this weekend. We'll get there. We'll get there.
No, they did the same thing to
Nikki
Stephanie.
Looked good though out there though. I mean, you got to give it to her, right? Like Nikki still got it going on.
Aging like fine wine.
Oh yeah.
Look, but with Stephanie Vacquet out there, you saw what they did with her, putting her in every event under the sun. Sol Ruca, that seems to be the plan they're following with her. Look, you got athletics, you got everything going on personality wise. You can tell she
bad
gets
looking
it.
on camera either.
Not bad looking on camera.
Not hard on the eyes at all.
But you can tell she gets it. The mechanics, everything's there. Her finishing move is incredible.
Oh yeah,
you can see, like Randy's RKO out of nowhere. I mean, she gets that soul snatcher just out of anywhere.
I mean, and the way she goes into it, having to come off the ropes, you would think it would be difficult to get into. But I mean, we saw it in a wide variety this weekend. We saw it out of the corner. We saw it off the rope. We saw a double one. We saw Charlotte Flair get hit one. I mean, we saw a lot of Sol Ruca this weekend, but in the right way. It wasn't, she wasn't out there just to take the pin, or she wasn't out there just to get John. She was being showcased in a subtle but obvious way.
Right. Sol Ruca's definitely on the radar, moving up the ranks. Good things to come, seeing what's going to happen with her.
Yeah, I don't think this will be the last episode we're talking about her for sure.
Absolutely not. Something else also went down. We're going to move into what happened with...
Hold on.
Yep.
Did you just say something else actually went... How much actually went down? We've got a laundry list over there.
A lot of things went down.
I've never seen the full notebook page, cover to cover on this. I've never seen a front and back notebook page before to prep for the show. When I was like, send me over the notes for this week, and you and the producer sent that, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It looked like the big, beautiful bill.
I thought it was a book report. I'm like, what the hell? I got to read this. I can't read all this stuff. I'm supposed to have 3 bullet points that I talk for.
You do just like every congressman does. You sign it and move on.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I'll auto pin.
I'll
auto pin it. Yeah, I'm auto pinning it. I don't know.
Auto pin.
Yeah, I have no idea what's.
And that's as close as you get to politics with the Bookers Alliance.
That's as far as we need to go. We need not go any farther.
Nope. But you had the women's NXT title picture going around between Jacy Jayne and Jordynne Grace. Look. Everybody said Jacy Jayne transitional champion. She's just keeping that belt warm for Jordynne.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't
obviously,
know if they see it that way now. Now looking at it,
well, I mean, they got something. They gave it to her, and then they started off with the most beatable champion ever. Well, when you say that, now you're either going to have to live into it wholeheartedly and make her lose her very first match, or she has to overcome those odds because, I mean, hey, whether or not NXT said it, the rest of the world said it.
Right.
So, hey, why not live into it? Why not just own it and say, you know what? Okay, that's what you think. I'll show you something different. And I think she did that this weekend.
I think she did good. I think the match between her and Jordynne was great. Jordynne Grace definitely just phenomenal in the ring. She's a star. Always doing, the next level of a move where you're like, wow, I didn't know she had that one in her, right?
Yeah, she breaks out some new stuff, which is hard to do in 2025 wrestling with all especially with all we had this weekend. It's hard to say I did something original. True. And she's able to say that. But speaking of great in that match, that heel turn at the end of it, man.
Yeah, so Blake Monroe can't seem to get away from the heel aspect. She left AEW with a bloody heel.
Literally
seems to be having a heel turn in NXT. I mean, that's
also she looks great in a good pair of heels. I mean, with the red bottoms and all that girl stuff that they talk about. Yeah, she looks great in those too. So hey, keep it going.
Yeah. So Jacy Jayne had an assist there with Blake Monroe kind of turning heel on Jordynne Grace, cracking Jordynne Grace in the back with the NXT belt. Did we see it coming? Yeah, you can see it coming a mile away. Does that fit her character better? Absolutely.
Yeah, Blake Monroe's a natural heel.
Heel.
No matter what. She's gorgeous and all that, so it works to be the face when you're coming in. And she's obviously going to get the rub, being a former AEW talent that the fans automatically know.
Right.
But okay, when the initial shine wears off, where do you go from here? That's where you go from here. You turn her heel and let her live into her character the best way she knows how.
Absolutely. All right. TNA contract signing also happened at Great American Bash between Trick Williams, Santana, and say his name and he appears.
Yeah, he does. I believe in
Joe Hendry.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. This looks like...
I thought it was I believe in Mark Henry. I'm sorry.
Shout out to Mark Henry.
I mean, right. We love Mark Henry. I saw him this weekend. He popped up in Atlanta. I thought you were going to say you believed in Mark Henry, but no.
Look, shout out to Joe Hendry, though. Joe Hendry's holding it down. Everything looking good. Trick, as usual, let's talk about it. I mean, Trick's nailing everything he's just perfect with all the delivery, every line he's coming out with. It's great. Trick can also hold it down in the ring. I like the fact that he's over there repping TNA.
Yeah, I think it works, right? Because, TNA, let's be honest, without Joe Hendry being the champion over there, they could kind of get lost in the shuffle of working with WWE, doing their own thing or whatnot. But you put a WWE guy in there where it automatically brings more attention to the company, for one, gets them on national TV or cable TV every week on CW or, for whoever gets that. 2 and 3, Trick brings more name value than like a Santana, right? So having him hold the title, it brings a little extra prestige to a title that already had it, but was kind of losing the luster for a while. You bring it back, put it on a top guy, former NXT champion, all ready to be called up, just as we talked about before, doesn't necessarily fit in the bottleneck right now, but he's on the cusp. And now he's helping TNA out. So, it's a win-win for both sides. I don't dislike it.
Santana in this mix is the wild card. You don't know what's going to happen with Santana in there.
Well, I know he's going to take the fall.
You
think
so?
One way or another, I think his shoulders go down for the 1, 2, 3, one way or the other.
Interesting.
Otherwise, you got to drop Trick or you got to drop Joe Hendry, and I don't think it's time for either one of them. I think you kind of got to have that guy in there to take the fall.
Santana, though, is a TNA original.
Yep. Man, he's taking a lot of falls for TNA. So I think he takes another one coming up here at their Slammiversary pay-per-view. Also, this week on NXT, we saw Trick Williams interact with the Undertaker team at LFG, and he got a tweet back from the Undertaker that says, if you disrespect my team, you disrespect me. Turns out Undertaker will be at NXT next week to have a little face-to-face with a Trick Williams. So,
oh boy,
Trick Williams may be, finding 6 feet under here coming soon because the Undertaker told him, rest in peace.
Oh no, Trick, you better run, boy. You better run, Trick.
Better call somebody. Ain't time to talk about it now. You better be about it.
So definite interesting happenings there with the men's TNA championship. Real quick, talk about the NXT men's championship. Obafemi, keep doing your thing. Oba is just amazing. Look, we can't wait to see what happens when you go up to that main roster.
I don't want to preclude where we're going later on in the show, but Obafemi this weekend was what Goldberg wanted to be, right? We'll get there. We'll get there, but everything Obafemi did this weekend is what Goldberg wishes had to happen this weekend for him.
That's some tasty, tantalizing little tease.
Got to find a way to keep them around for this 80-minute show that we're about to put out today. I got to tease their attention. Now they don't want to turn us off. They got to listen.
All right, we got to talk about another show that happened over the weekend.
Shit, how many shows happened? Everything. So what about the indie show? There were like 15 indie shows that happened in Atlanta this weekend and 3 damn Comic-Con signings.
We got to talk about the longest ever wrestling pay-per-view in history.
No, let's stick with NXT. Great American Bash. Come on, let's go to that. Don't do it to me.
Yeah, we got to talk about All In Texas. We got to talk about it.
So that's going to be the longest PLE pay-per-view in North American wrestling history. It's going to be the shortest pay-per-view that we talk about today. Let's go.
It clocked in at 5 hours and 57 minutes.
Holy hell.
A complete 8 hours if you put in all the content with the pre-show.
Yeah, Tony's paying him big bucks. I guess he wants his money worth now, right?
Apparently.
You ain't phoning it in on Tony. Tony's going to get it all out of you.
We're not going to cover everything from All In, but
damn right, because one of us ain't even see it.
Going to hit the high points real quick. Look, let's start off with this one. A little bit of sad news. Adam Cole. We got to start off with Adam Cole, Baby.
Oh, Cole.
Adam might be done wrestling.
Yeah, I heard he broke up with Britt Baker, so I'd be done too.
No,
that would be enough to phone me out.
Talking about medically, he can't get medically cleared for wrestling, and he's not.
He was trying to get the blue pill, and they wouldn't do it because
not trying to get the blue pill. Oh. They never disclosed what his injury was, but it is bad enough to where he said he was going to be out for an indefinite time again. He also relinquished the TNT Championship. By the way, Dustin Rhodes, good on you, man. Look at your stage of the career, you out there winning championships. Keep going, brother. Keep stepping.
So keep going is okay for Dustin, but how many guys walked away with 3 or more titles out of this pay-per-view this weekend?
Not many.
3. There's 3 guys running around with 3 belts apiece. What in the hell are we doing? So we've got 15 titles right now, and that's bad enough. It's bad enough to have one company, one roster, and 15 fucking titles. That's horrible. But if you can only spread them out amongst 9 guys, that really means we need to retire some damn titles, or we need to do something different, right?
Right.
There ain't no excuse to have 15 titles for one, and there ain't no excuse for 3 guys to have 3 apiece. That's nuts. What? But it's Tony booking, so it is what it is.
That is true. That is true.
That's all I got. That's my full contribution to this. That's crazy.
Let's talk about 3 matches that happened. 3 killer matches that I was looking forward to. Let me start off with Tony Storm versus Mercedes Moné.
Yep.
Looks like TK might have listened to our latest episode talking about the All In pay-per-view because Mercedes Moné actually took a loss in AEW.
So the first thing we're going to talk about, we got to give you your flowers, right? Because, I mean, you've been on a low streak for quite a while as far as predictions, right?
Yep.
I mean, I know baseball season kicked in, but you were batting 1. 0.0001, but 1 nonetheless, right? You were batting 1.
Right.
It was bad. Like you were missing everything. You were missing the sliders, the curveballs, the straight, the fast. You were missing them all, right?
Hit that one out of the
You hit
park.
a home run on that
Hit that
one.
one out of the park.
I in no way, shape, or form thought they would build up this whole thing to let it crumble at the very end, but then I forgot it was Tony booking.
That's right. It was Tony booking.
Right. I let myself get wrapped up in the common sense of it, and that's never a good thing to do with AEW. So I ended up faltering. But yeah, I got to give you a shot. I got to give you flowers on that one because you nailed that one.
They had a great match. Everything from their entrances to the match depth from Luther getting involved. It was a pretty cool match.
I got a question because I told you I didn't see it, but you did.
Yep.
So what was that spot when they were doing like the tombstone and then they did the reversal? What the hell happened in that? Because I saw a clip of it and then I was like, I don't know what I just saw.
Tony had a lunch break.
Okay. That's about what I thought was happening there. So, all right. So
Tony had a lunch break.
Buff Burgers were on the menu, huh?
Exactly.
Okay.
Look, she told Mercedes in the post interview, she said, look, thanks, Mercedes, for keeping your lips warm. All 4.
Holy hell. All righty then. So
you gotta love Tony Storm.
I was just getting ready to say, out of all the craziness and ridiculousness that happened at All In, that was probably the most watched clip of all wrestling all this weekend.
Yep.
That was amazing. That was funny as hell. And the fact that Mercedes went along with it because she understands Tony's character.
And had the lipstick
helps.
print, too.
I mean, you got to at this point, right? She probably had her whole face makeup down there.
So look, if y'all thinking that we're lying about this spot like it was some accident, like she accidentally, no, that was a planned spot. It was funny as hell to watch. Go back if you haven't seen it yet. Watch the clip. You'll laugh your ass off.
Everybody that's listening right now, they done seen it more than once. Yeah.
But it was a great match with Tony retaining her belt. We'll see if TK takes my booking suggestion and keeps going with Empire Falling for Miss CEO and see what happens from there.
Well, one thing I do got to say is I ain't mad at Tony because if I was in that same spot, same difference.
Same
right?
difference.
Same difference. Although if I was doing it, it'd be like an essay. And all you TikTokers out there know what that means. So I would never do such a thing by no way, shape, or form. But if I was in the position, I might consider it.
All right, let's move on to Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada. Look, entrances, phenomenal entrances. Omega had one of probably the best entrances of his career. They really outdid it for his entrance. But being a fan of both of these two guys, knowing their history, knowing the battles that they've been in the past, this was not your traditional Omega Okada battle. This was 7 years later from their last battle, and you can tell time waits for no one, and both men have fallen off a step. But it was still intriguing. It was still storytelling in the match between the two guys. The only thing that I hate, that I always come back to, is the damn Don Callis interference.
And that's a staple.
It's a staple in Kenny's matches. And
and he hasn't even been affiliated with Don Callis for like a year. But they still always incorporate that. Those two are married, almost like Hangman and Swerve at this point. They're in a relationship that, a toxic relationship that's just never ending. Neither one of them can get away from the other one.
Yep. But the match itself was good. Again, you can tell this was not the Omega and Okada of old. However, what they gave us was still fun to watch. It was cool to see how they have changed their styles over time. And let's just say both of them can still go. But man, oh man, did I thought Omega was going to pull this one out.
Okay, so Omega lost. All right. Do you want to know if I knew that beforehand or not?
Did you?
I got 4 letters, 1 word. Nope. Although in the archives from last week's episode, a whole bunch of nope. So I'm still riding on nope right now because nope, didn't see it, had no interest.
Yep. But everybody thought it was going to go one way, it went another way. Now Okada is the quote unquote undisputed champion.
So he's the Intercontinental champion, right? Because they merged the international.
Might as well be Intercontinental.
Right.
They called it.
Did they go with Mid Atlantic or what did they go with?
They just said undisputed champion.
Yeah, so we got one of those over there. So one way or another, they found a way to copy WWE.
They did.
Okay, great, awesome, good to know.
Last match we want to talk about with All In real quick. We want to talk about Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page in a Texas Death Match. All right, so Texas Death Match, obviously, you're going to get all the violence. You're going to get the blood. You're going to get everything under the sun. Holy shit, did this start off fast and furious. It started off crazy. And if you ever wonder, Jon Moxley really bleeding, just watch the first minute and a half of that match where Hangman got him in the chokehold and freaking took a fork, stabbed it to his top of his head, and you can just see the blood gush like a fountain. It was ridiculously grotesque for a wrestling match, but my inner ECW match guy just loved it. It was amazing. I haven't seen that since ECW days. It was incredible.
There's a reason you haven't seen that since ECW
because it's gross.
Yeah, because we left that 25 years behind, right? That was not supposed to be brought into modern day wrestling, but why not? Do you want to know what my opinion was on that?
What?
4 letters, 1 word. Nope. Didn't watch it.
All right. So they actually, though, did a really good thing for this whole event. The entire event, there was no blood unless it happened like for real. Like there was no blood planned per se.
Well, that's actually smart on
that's
AEW
smart
because they knew what they were going to do in the last match. You don't want to saturate the whole show with, okay, well, everybody's bleeding. Well, now it's not special when Mox or Hangman do it.
Right.
So that's smart. I'm impressed. I'm shocked.
It made that match feel more violent. It made it feel actually fresh. I mean, you're watching freaking 5 hours of wrestling before this.
God, that sounds like such a punishment. Holy hell.
That match alone went 50 minutes. I mean, it went a while.
Now, anybody out there that's wondering, why didn't Frank watch that match? There you go, right there. You just nailed it right on. 50 minutes for...
Speaking of nails, there was a bed of nails in this match.
50 minutes of Hangman and Moxley. No, hell.
There was barbed wire. There was bed of nails.
Bless me not.
There was chairs broken open in the weird ways. There was glass. I mean, there was any weapon that you could think of. They brought it out in this match. It was crazy. You also had the Avengers style battle between both of them. You had Mox and his Death Riders, and the Young Bucks also came out there. Oh, speaking of Young Bucks versus Will Ospreay and Swerve, good bit of business. It was good too. But going back to Hangman and Mox.
I believe you. I couldn't comment it on myself, but I believe you. It sounds good to me.
But Hangman and Mox, they both had their Avenger-style teams with, Hangman having his players that came out, but then the one
Hangman has friends?
He has friends.
Where did this come from?
I know, right? So the one guy that he apparently has closed the chapter with as a rival, Swerve came out as his last ally, gave him the chain that he dropped in the floor in front of Swerve on Collision. Swerve came down, knocked a few cronies out with the chain, gave it to Hangman. Hangman hangs basically Jon Moxley over the rope with the chain for the victory. But you also had 2 guest appearances in this match that nobody saw coming. Darby
The
Allin.
Rock and Travis Scott?
Nope.
Damn.
Darby Allin come out of nowhere, rappelling down from the rafters. And you had an appearance from the Blue Panther.
The Blue Panther?
Blue Panther.
Okay, who the fuck is the Blue Panther?
Bryan Danielson.
Ugh. Wow. Holy hell.
So Blue Panther is it's a New Japan throwback. One of his favorite wrestlers. He got Blue Panther in his retirement match, but he's got the mask. But he came out, gave a psycho knee to one of the Moxley cronies there, took him out, helped Hangman in the match. So Hangman is your new AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and the championship has been freed from the briefcase. Thank God.
Great. So was it actually in the briefcase?
It was.
So it did fit in there. Like they didn't have a compact version of it.
No,
or anything?
it fit in there somehow.
Oh yeah.
It must have folded.
Yeah, I was gonna say
origami. They just put it in there.
Either that, or they came up with a new briefcase for this week, and they were like, "Oh hell, we actually got to pay this thing off." Yeah, let somebody go get us a briefcase real quick.
Do want to say though, real quick, nice touch at the very end when they did free the championship from the briefcase, and Hangman pulled it out, held it over his hand. You could see Bryan Danielson's nameplates were still on the side for more Mox wanting off of Bryan.
So that thing's legit. Supposedly been in the suitcase.
Been in that briefcase since then.
It's kind of funky in there, then, isn't it? I mean, because
it's got some sweat
belts be sweaty. Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of funky looking.
Yeah, I hope Hangman hits that with
some
some Lysol or something.
I mean, spray it down, take that bad boy and get it cleaned up. Clean that some bitch up, turn it sideways,
stick it straight up.
There you go.
All right, that's my all-in recap. I know, Frank, you know that's not your cup of tea these days.
Ironically, you said that because I just finished a cup of tea. I was having a nice little tea and crumpets break over here while we were. Yeah, I had a little donut over here while we were doing it.
Did you have some jelly on that donut?
I did indeed. I did. It was a jelly-filled donut.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a jelly roll, right? Guess you guys know where we're going now.
So we segue into Saturday night.
Sadly, this is where we're going.
So look, I've kind of changed my tune on this a little bit, Frank. I've heard Jelly. I've heard him come out and he's made his statements. And yeah, I might be a Jelly Roll fan like in music, but I wasn't really digging this when it all went down on Saturday night's main event. I wasn't digging it then. Okay. Now that some things have unfolded, I kind of get it, and I'm actually into it, and I want to see what happens. But it ain't for anybody else but Jelly.
Okay. So let me get this right. So if this had been the Travis Scott spot, would you have been equally as into it?
No.
It's because Travis is black, right?
No.
Just go put that out there.
No.
Because I mean, I'm just
no.
Because I'm just thinking it through. Like you don't like the celebrity musicians to come in, but then when a big fat white guy comes in, you're like, oh, I'm all for it now, and I'm like, huh. Because I think I'm like, so we all attract to like what we relate to and all that. And I'm just saying, for some odd reason, you've automatically attracted yourself to the jelly roll in wrestling thing. And after we parted ways on Saturday, we hated jelly roll in wrestling because we're like, God, this is going to be abysmal. But now all of a sudden you're all in on it. It makes me wonder,
how can I be that?
How did you transition that into being a fan of this?
How can I be that? And then like I'm one of R-Truth's biggest supporters.
Because everybody loves R-Truth. R-Truth transcends race. I mean, he just kind of is.
R-Truth, you have transcended race.
R-Truth definitely transcends race.
I like that.
Although I did see R-Truth packaged in with Street Profits and Carmelo over the weekend. And don't get me wrong, when I saw it, I was like, Nation of Domination, they're not. But I wouldn't be opposed to those four getting together and doing a little bit of business. I think
that would be great.
So yeah, and I don't know if it was just like them backstage horsing around or whatnot, but that's where a lot of the best ideas have came from.
Yep.
Triple H should know better than anybody what forming a backstage friendship can translate to on camera. Yep. If them four dudes are friends in real life, hell yeah, put them together and let's see what happens, because I'd be down for it.
Yep. So you had Jelly and Randy Orton.
Ugh.
They're kind of mixing it up as a tag team. You've got Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre going against them. The story behind Jelly, the story goes, everybody knows Jelly was massively overweight. Jelly was over 500 pounds.
Wait, what do you mean was?
Well, he was. He's lost a lot since.
Yeah, he got a lot to go.
He's got a lot to go.
Jelly's still a heavyweight. In that match, Jelly's still outweighing everybody by at least 50.
True. So you got,
that's including Randy at 300. So.
You got Jelly. Jelly apparently formed a friendship with Triple H, and look, Jelly's been trying to tell Triple H, look, I've been a fan of this since I was a little kid. I want to get in the ring and do this. And basically, Triple H was like, look, at your weight, you can't get in there and do it. The doctors are never going to clear you, right?
Well, I mean, Triple H would know.
Triple H would know. So with Jelly going on his personal weight loss journey, everything happening with that, he still kept in contact with Triple H, and if Jelly finally got to the weight that he would be cleared to actually get in the ring and mix it up a little bit. But Jelly's also committed to this. He's moved into a house in Orlando. He's at the PC from sunup to sundown. He has been there for the past 4 weeks. He's going to continue to be there until SummerSlam. He's dropped another 80 pounds since signing a contract to be in this match. He's using this for motivation for weight loss, but it's also like, hey, I'm accomplishing a goal to fulfill a goal. And I kind of get it, man. It's like, following Jelly, following his story, it's kind of interesting to see where he came from, being on the rocks, being in jail, and kind of seeing him come out. Even he's had his falters since then, but to come out and to be able to accomplish 2 dreams at one time, it's pretty incredible. And that's the story that I'm kind of digging in this.
I ain't mad at that. I mean, if it helps him on his health journey to do it, okay, good. All good for that. I'm definitely not going to complain about that. But everything that you just said that he's doing, I remember a black guy doing it. Travis Scott's been putting in the same kind of work and all that. Somehow or another, the same time the New Day loses their tag titles, the same time the Street Profits lose their tag titles, the same time R-Truth almost gets fired, all of a sudden Travis Scott's completely out. It's making me think something, right?
Well, let's call our podcast friend. Let's call Booker T and let's see what he got to say, because apparently he was training at Booker T school.
Yeah.
So if he was good enough, you would think Booker T would be trying to push it, right?
You would think, but I mean, Booker T's kind of on LFG. I mean,
well, the rumor was he wasn't cutting it at Booker school. He wasn't showing up.
That I could believe. I mean, Travis Scott don't necessarily seem
Plus,
like
he done went AWOL on his Insta anyway, and he's like, I'll give y'all new music when I want to give y'all new music.
Yeah, and that's really not what Triple H is going for now. He wants everybody that's out there on social media. He needs everybody that's super active, and I mean, Travis Scott is kind of the reverse of that. So, no, I 100% get it, but as I'm thinking about it, I mean, I'll be honest. So when Jelly Roll first came out, I saw him, and they said, oh, he's doing the rap thing. And I'm like, well, that's trash. I don't even want to hear that. But when he moved over to like more kind of country pop type thing, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll listen to it. But when I first saw it, the first thing I'm thinking is like, oh, he's T-Boo Luke Combs at this point, right? Like that's what he's doing. But I listened to his music when he crossed over into a more suitable genre. And I'm like, okay, he ain't bad. I can see it. I can see where he comes from. And I know some of his history too, not the health issue or not the health thing that you were talking about, but I know he's had like substance abuse issues and things like that, and he battled them and got over them. So I applaud him for that. Anything that helps him keep on his journey of sobriety, definitely not going to downplay that. And if he's using this as motivation to help get himself in shape to live a longer, more fruitful life, definitely not going to downplay that either. Do I want to see him in the ring? No.
Yeah, nobody does.
Absolutely not.
Nobody does.
I don't want anybody to think like I'm hyped for the Jelly Roll back, because I wasn't hyped for the Travis Scott match. I knew that was going to suck. I know this is going to suck, but I'll deal with it for the views that it's going to get. We'll get through it.
It's like the TikTok where the guy's playing the Hurt Business song. We hurt people.
Yeah,
it's going, nobody asked for this.
Exactly.
Nobody asked for this.
Although I guess we got to have a musical performance or a musical act involved with SummerSlam somewhere, because I ain't seen Cardi B's commercial for SummerSlam in months.
Cardi B, where are you?
I'm thinking maybe she pulled out, but if she did, she'd be the only one. Yeah, I was going to say she'd be the only one in that setup that she's got going on.
A lot of men.
So.
Nah, you go there.
Right, because ain't nobody else doing it. So maybe she's the first one. Maybe she decided it was time for somebody to pull out, and that's what she did. But we digress. We'll move on past that.
Let's move on to something else.
Definitely better move away from that, because if the jokes get started, they ain't going to stop.
Let's talk about Seth Rollins. All right.
Ooh, so speaking of stop, hard stop.
Let's get serious for a minute. So Seth was in his match with LA Knight. Seth did a moonsault, landed funky on the knee, did another backwards moonsault, finished the knee off, wound up in the corner, and it was basically match stoppage just for a moment while they could assess. Everybody was kind of like, what's going on? Is this real? Is this fake? Is it shoot? Is it work? What's going on? Is he doing this now so he can do a cash in later? You saw Paul talking. You saw a doctor come in. You saw the ref talking. Next thing you know, Seth jumps up to his feet just a little bit, just enough to catch the BFT from LA Knight. Match over 1, 2, 3. And it looked bad. It looked bad.
It did, but I got a little hot take on this. From the whole conversation about was it real, was it fake, was it a shoot? No, I don't know, because so rumors have come out after this that Roman was supposed to make his great comeback at the end of that match and start up a program with Seth that was going to lead to Seth having to finally put Roman over on pay-per-view, right? All that was supposed to start up at Saturday night's main event. And Seth comes up limp on a move that he does every week on wrestling, or every time you turn around, he's doing moves far worse than that. Now, all of a sudden, he comes up injured and he's lamed up. Kind of giving me that Shawn Michaels lost my smile vibe right now, isn't it? Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
I'm picking up what you're putting down, but I'm not going to go on that side of it. I saw him on the Rich Eisen show today. He was supposed to be the host for Rich. He got on there the first 5 minutes of the show today. He kind of led into the injury, led into what happened, led into, showing up in Birmingham. Estimated time he's going to be out right now is 5 to 7 months. So is it legit? I think so. There's an old rule that we've always heard in professional wrestling is you can work everybody under the sun, but you don't work the boys.
I don't know. Some of the times when you work the boys, that's where some of the best angles have come from.
These times are a-changing.
When CM Punk came back, did they work the boys that night? Is that storyline still building 2 years later, 3 years later?
So
I don't know.
So here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. If it's real, Seth, well wishes to you, sir. Hope you come back soon, stronger, better than ever, and get everything that you ever wanted out of your wrestling career and then some.
And on the flip side, if it's not, he's projected to be back by WrestleMania 42? Go ahead and get ready to lay down for Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 42 if you make your big comeback there, because your ass is going to take the fall sooner or later. You can't hide for so long.
Here's what I think is getting ready to happen.
Okay.
Here's what I think is getting ready to happen. I think you're going to get, I don't know if I want to cross into this right now because it's going to cross into some of the topics that we got to talk about.
Well, we got time. It's a lead-in. We got to keep them here. We need them. They're probably going to have to stick around another 15, 20 minutes.
Well, let's table it. Let's table it then.
Okay.
Let's table it. So I'll table that conversation.
Who's it in regards to, though? We got to give him a teaser.
I think there's going to be a repeat to a match that happened at last year's WrestleMania.
Okay. All right. Let's build from there.
All right. So let's go on to the main event of Saturday night's main event. Let's talk about Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Oh,
yeah. At home in Atlanta. You got Goldberg making his grand homecoming in his retirement match. Let's talk about it.
Bullshit.
I like Goldberg as a character, so I was ready for the retirement. I was ready for the big grand send-off.
Yeah, I got some things to say on this. First things first. Goldberg in his final match. Let's talk about this match real quick. Did we get more out of the match than we thought we was going to get?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That may have been a bad thing.
Yeah, it may have been a bad thing.
I don't know. So the Seth match happened right before that, and a lot of timing got screwed up.
Threw the timing off on the match. So threw the commercials off.
Right. I don't know if we were supposed to get what we got out of it, or I don't know if they asked them to go heavy, in a match that was supposed to go light. There's really no telling how the show changed around. Because, at some point in time, if we were going to get Roman at Saturday night's main event, that match was supposed to go a lot longer than what we got. So we don't know how it affected the whole event. Like you said, it definitely threw off the commercials, but we'll get there.
Yep. So let's talk about, though, what happened at the end. We knew he wasn't going to go over.
Hold on, let's talk about what happened in the middle. Because Goldberg did an interview on Ariel Helwani's talking about how, he doesn't really like how they handled it, and he didn't love the build-up and all that. But in that same breath, he was saying, well, I was happy with my performance. Goldberg, let me talk to you here for a second. Let's talk about it. No way you were happy with that performance, right? Your knee had given out 2 minutes in, right? You should have been spearing and jackhammering and heading home when you were actually just starting to work, and that knee had buckled. The only thing that was holding that together was the brace. When the damn brace came off, the whole match fell apart with it. Yep. So let's talk about it.
So Goldberg struggling through the match, Gunther obviously elevating him and carrying him through the match. With the timing and the weird issues, after the match was all said and done, he had a weird commercial break, cut back to Goldberg for like 40 seconds, trying to do his retirement speech. Live TV cut him off. You had WWE.com put the rest of his retirement speech up there. And in the moment, both you and I said, that's BS.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why are you going to do that to somebody? He's trying to end, wrap it up with a speech, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So when they posted,
Goldberg, we're on your side on that. Right. We did agree that was bad timing for all of that. Horrible commercial placement.
So when they posted it on WWE.com, went out there and watched it. Great speech there at the end to wrap up your career. But also, you've had that moment in the sun already, Goldberg. You're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You had a Hall of Fame speech.
True, but to his credit, I mean, they offered this to him. You know, this was a working relationship, and this is the idea they came up with. Hey, we're going to let you finish off your career in Atlanta. You don't mishandle finishing off somebody's career if that was the intention all along. I mean, at that point, you should take the show and book backwards from it.
Right.
So whatever you need, if you know you're planning on doing a Goldberg retirement speech, you need 5 minutes, right? So either you talk to NBC and say, okay, we can't put this dumbass commercial right here at the end, and I told you I had thoughts of that too, because me and you both watch Saturday Nights Live too. We both watch the show.
Right.
And I tell you all the time, they'll come out of commercial and they'll go to the song that's supposed to lead into the wrap up, you know, where the guest star for the week comes out and gives his goodbye speech, and then the crowd, the rest of the cast comes up and joins him. On every week we watch new episodes, they always cut to commercial between the song and the wrap up. And it's always awkward as hell because they play the song and you know the speech is coming, but our local feed spits a commercial in there. Well, they did the same thing with Goldberg. He took the 1, 2, 3. He laid there. Gunther got out of the ring, cleared the ring for Goldberg, and we saw people start filling up the ring. And then all of a sudden they cut to this dumbass commercial. That's an NBC flaw, and NBC needs to work on that, or WWE needs to tell them, hey, if we're going to keep running this event, we can't have this happen.
Right. So, you know, it was kind of weird how it all settled out. And then you get all of a sudden this Goldberg interview with Errol Hawani. Errol Hawani, love the dude. Great interviewer.
Yeah.
Probably one of the easiest interviews he's ever did, because all he had to do was open the door and Goldberg just kind of wandered into basically shooting himself in the back.
Well, hey, Goldberg's retired now. He don't really. I think after this experience, just from what I took away from the interview, I think Goldberg's over it at this point. I think he's gonna take this retirement as, you know what, I'm taking this as exactly what it is, and I gotta be done. Because let's be honest, ever since WCW, his undefeated streak ran out when he went 173-1, Goldberg's been disgruntled with the business for one reason or another periodically ever since, right?
Right.
He was disgruntled with the end of WCW. Admittedly, right, it was horrible. It was the pits. I get it. I'd have been disgruntled with that too. Took some time off, got paid a lot of money, came to WWE, did a year run. He left that disgruntled. You know, oh, they didn't handle me right. I was a WCW guy. They didn't treat me the way I wanted, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. He comes back, 15 years later, somewhere along in that area of time, does a program with Brock Lesnar. He gets the world title. What? Why? Anyway, it happens. You know, the Universal title, sorry. He wandered into that. Okay, works the program. And Goldberg was kind of on the ups on that one. You know, they put him in the Hall of Fame. You know, it was all wonderful. Goldberg seemed pretty happy about that. Well, then they didn't want to use him anymore. You know, his match times came up a little short. They needed him to put over guys like Braun Strowman, guys like The Fiend. And Goldberg starts wandering back into disgruntled land again. He's unhappy again. I think Goldberg's always unhappy. He's just an unhappy SOB.
So let me throw you an old phrase, Frank. Let me see if you know what this means. If somebody says, when they're talking about somebody and they say your slip is showing.
Oh yeah, that's definitely, that's old 50 strays there. That means you're letting a little more out than you need to.
I think Goldberg is showing, even though we probably already knew, Goldberg is showing his true colors, showing how disgruntled he probably really is from the business. Look, I don't care if it was a cash grab. I don't care if it was truly your wish to go out there and retire from your hometown. Look, at the end of the day, be grateful for what happened.
Yeah.
Instead of being complaining for what didn't.
Yeah.
And look, you as a person, that kind of told me a whole lot about who you really are. You slip a show in Goldberg. You might want to fix that, brother.
Well, at the end of the day, let's be honest. Goldberg he played for the Falcons, right? He played professional NFL football. That didn't actually work out how Goldberg wanted, right? That didn't put him on the career path that he wanted. It didn't make him the...
I wonder why.
Well, we'll never know, but...
I think I got some insight.
The point is behind that is nobody would know the name of Bill Goldberg had it not been for professional wrestling.
Correct.
And so at the end of the day, no matter how you interpret your place in the business, your place in the business was a gift. Because, yeah, he had a look, he had talent, but had nobody believed in him in WCW, we wouldn't even know his name by now. He would have been a jobber. He would have been a mid-card guy at best that had a decent run for a while. WCW saw something in him. They made something out of him, and he's parlayed it into a 20-plus year career at this point. He's damn near 30 if you count now. He started out in the mid-90s. It's the mid-2020s. 30 years Goldberg had a career, a multi-million-dollar career, off of the back of professional wrestling. And the fact that when it comes down to it, he's just like, I never get treated how I want and things like that. It's not about you, Goldberg. I get it. It was your retirement match, but WWE is running 52 weeks a year, 2 shows, 3 shows, 4 shows, hell, sometimes 5 shows a week. It all ain't going to be about Goldberg. Goldberg actually said in that interview, we've had this in the book since January. Goldberg wanted to have a from January to July build for this retirement match.
At 58, dude, you can't do that.
At 58 with limited dates. Goldberg, he makes it sound like he was going to come to TV every week for whatever they paid him. He makes it sound like he was going to take that same pay and make a 6-month bill.
Not to mention, you ain't John Cena.
Exactly. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, I don't know what they're paying John Cena for, but I guarantee they're not paying him his worth.
Yeah,
There's a whole lot more money John could be making if he had held him up for money and said, hey, this is a cash grab, and he could have told him, hey, I need $10 million for a year. And they would, okay, well, and he might be making more than that. He might be making less. Whatever in the case, he could have threw out any number in real, he could have threw out, hey, I want to make more than Roman this year. And they would have said, okay, well, we're going to see John a lot more than we're going to see Roman. Deal. But I don't think that's a John Cena thing to do because John's got outside stuff going on. I don't know what the hell's happening with Goldberg's garage, but I know Goldberg just took a hell of a cash grab for 3 weeks worth of work where he probably put in, an hour's worth total.
Yep.
So, and that's all the TVs he's been on. We probably saw Goldberg for a total of 60 minutes. So whatever in the hell Goldberg got paid was a hell of a lot more than the average person's making. So like you said, sometimes be grateful, take it.
Yep.
One of the phrases I've hated so much over the last, 10 years was shut up and dribble. Worst thing in the world because it was taken out of social context. We don't want to hear your opinion on social context, LeBron James. We just want you to go play basketball. This ain't that. This ain't what Goldberg's bitching and crying for his own shit.
Yeah.
And at this point, shut up and wrestle. We don't need to hear you bitching and crying about what you wanted to happen and all this. Hell, you got an opportunity that not a lot of people get.
Yep.
Shut up and wrestle.
Now, granted, I'm going to close this part of our conversation out with this and we'll move on. I've always said, you don't understand somebody until you walked a mile in their shoes.
Yep.
I ain't walked a mile in Goldberg's boots.
True.
Couldn't tell you. Look, there might be some deep psychological shit that man's been through in his career.
Maybe.
Okay, whatever. Good deal. But brother, there's an example you got to set from a young Gage that's trying to come up, whether it's the NFL or whether it's professional wrestling. You got an example you got to set. That young man will be far greater off in this business by being grateful than he will for being sour.
Well, unfortunately, Goldberg did set the example because the words we heard out of Gage recently was, I'm planning on playing professional football, but if that don't work out, I'll use wrestling as a backup.
Yeah,
that sounds like Goldberg. That sounds like he took that. He bit off the apple that fell from the tree called Goldberg Daddy. Exactly, because that's what Goldberg looked at as. Oh, wrestling did, football failed me. That was what I really wanted to do. I guess I'll do this wrestling thing to pick up a check. And now, God forbid his sons think of the same thing and playing right along with it. Triple H went right down the path of saying, I think Gage is built for the business. We're waiting for him when he's ready. And I'm like, ugh, we'll see how that works out.
All right, let's move on from this conversation. Move into probably one of the best events of the weekend, Evolution. Fantastic from start to finish.
That could possibly be the PLE of the year from all wrestling.
It definitely has a match of the year candidate, if not winner.
100%.
So let's talk about what all transpired, starting out with the triple threat for the IC women's belt between Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, and Becky Lynch.
Hell of a good way to start.
Very creative between all three ladies on how they worked things throughout the match. Hard hitting, very intense in some spots. but probably one of the most creative pins that I've
Really?
seen in a long time.
I've never seen anybody roll into a backslide. I mean, the whole purpose of the move is called the backslide. But somehow or another, we came at it from the side. That was creative as hell. Creative. I loved it.
Becky and Bailey, they've been going at this for many, many years now. So obviously working together, they've got timing, they've got the synergy to pull something like that off. But it was so smooth. Yeah. The transition into that move for the 1, 2, 3. Very, very good match with Becky retaining the belt. And then there's something we'll talk about here in a minute, kind of setting up for SummerSlam, but very, very good triple threat match.
Well, let's not get out of that too fast because I do want to talk about. So in that match, we had 2 of the 4 horsewomen, right? Becky and Bailey. And then we had the young up and comer, Lyra Valkyria, ready to break out and be the star of the future. And then Becky Hogan, sure enough, held the young talent down and said, "Not today, young buck. I'm staying on top." She dropped the big leg after hitting the big boot and went for the pinfall and got the 1, 2, 3 and walked out with her title because, as we know, at the end of any pay-per-view, Becky must pose.
Did you catch the attire on Monday Night Raw?
Yep.
Coming out in the red and yellow.
Yep, she made it. She knew what was going on there. She also had her own interview this weekend. I said, "I ain't Becky Hogan. I'm Becky Lynch," and I'm like, you can say that if you want, but there was a whole lot of Hogan
going on.
Yeah, there's a whole lot. So my understanding from history, as history told, is that Vince McMahon Sr. gave Hulk Hogan the name Hulk because he wanted a big Irishman, a big Irishman. So if we want a big Irish character on the women's side, why not use the Irish character we got, Becky Lynch, and tell her all she needs to do is incorporate. She's always had yellow incorporated with her red hair. So, I mean, she's been doing this for a while. We just didn't catch on until somebody realized, what's she doing here?
Another match that happened on that card was Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus.
Holy hell.
Very, very creative match. Very good between both ladies. Trish, 25 years in, still having a match like that. Incredible.
This is the spot where we fit in the Blue Chew ad, right?
Correct.
All right, go ahead and get it in because, oh my God, you want to talk about, I mean, what's the WWE's then, now, forever, together?
Yeah.
All I was thinking during that whole match was I was looking at Trish saying then, looking at Tiffany saying now. All I was thinking of was all 3 of us together, and that could definitely last forever.
So you thinking of that slogan, and all I'm thinking, looking at Tiffy, is thicker than a Snicker. That's all.
I mean, there was definitely some of that, but I think we had this conversation. Some of the divas or whatnot are getting, a little seasoned, as we call it. They've transformed their look, right? A lot of them. Don't get me wrong, they're all aging gracefully, but a lot of them went from the whole, thicker thing. They're trying to go more into that thinner, more leaner, more muscular look.
Ladies, if you're out there listening, just let me pause real quick and just let me say something real quick. We are wrestling fans, but at the end of the day, Frank and Marky Mark here, we're men.
Yeah, and so are 95% of the viewing audience.
Sorry. I mean, the conversation is going to go here, even though, it's not all of the conversation, but
it's gonna be some of it.
Sorry,
sorry. Out your damn luck, because we're gonna talk about some.
It's gonna
now.
happen.
God damn! I mean, man, when those 2 beauties stood next to each other, I'm like, whoo. You ever seen on on the internet where you see the hot mom and then the hot daughter, and you're like, oh my God, I see where it's coming from. I saw where it was coming from right there because I'm like, oh my God, sign me up.
Sign you up.
For that booty duty.
So with them in this match, very, very good, very storytelling. Look, Trish, is Tiffy's hero. That's why she picked her, blah, blah, blah. It could have been for a multitude of reasons, but the fact of the matter is Trish can still go. Trish gave her an excellent match. At the end of the day, we knew the title probably wasn't going to change hands, and it didn't. Tiffy retained. It's still Tiffy time. But that really set up kind of Tiffany as a powerhouse within the women's division.
Yeah, at that point, now, if you remember, Charlotte wrestled Trish a few years back, and that kind of, even though Charlotte had multiple time championships by that point, that kind of catapulted her into that GOAT conversation. Like, wait a minute, you've beaten everybody. Now you're even going back and beating the heroes of the past. now the fact that Tiffany's doing it too, that kind of puts her in that same category of, wait a minute, you're in that upper echelon of women now. And God knows the upper echelon of WWE's women's division is packed right now. Yeah. I mean, they are chock full, but Tiffany's establishing herself as one of those names that's going to be there, to help build that division and possibly even surpass the men's division at some point.
Let's talk about the 4-way tag real quick that kind of went down.
Wait, when you say 4-way, I mean Booker's Alliance, Trish and Tiffany. Is that where you're going right now?
Just we ain't touching tips, sir.
Because I mean that. No sword fight.
No sword fight.
Absolutely not. No Galahads, no Lancelots. None of them are in the building today.
So look, 4-way match between you had Charlotte and Alexa, you had Roxanne and Raquel, you had the Kabuki Warriors, and you had Sol Ruka, again, our MVP of all the weekend, with Zarya kind of going for these women's tag team belts.
Sol Ruka bumped elbows with a lot of big time players this weekend, didn't he?
See, that's what I'm saying. They are setting the plate, sir.
Oh yeah.
But with that match, to further the Judgment Day storyline, Raquel and Roxanne walk out with the belts, but we kind of could have seen it with Alexa and Charlotte.
I wanted to see that.
I kind of wanted to see that
I like their dynamic, and I don't know if they're going to be able to keep those two together, or I don't know if they're going to wander off into finally breaking Alexa off with the Wyatt Six and Charlotte doing her own thing. I don't know where we're going with that, but I know with Liv Morgan going out, a lot of things changed. A lot of moving pieces had to be reshuffled in that deck.
Rewritten, right.
So I'm hoping they find a way to possibly keep Alexa and Charlotte together for a while, maybe lead to a match later on down the road. But hey, let them ride together for a little bit. Let's see where this goes.
See where it goes. We got to talk about the Battle Royal that kind of went down. We had no surprise entrance, which was surprising.
Absolutely.
So we kind of thought there would maybe be some surprise entrance, but no surprise entrance. But the Battle Royal was your standard Battle Royal. But in the end...
before we get to the end, you were just talking about men, and, we're men, and, we're going to talk about...
Sure.
So, I mean, when legends, again, don't get me wrong. Now, I always like the new crop, right? You always like to see the new talent come out.
True.
But sometimes an oldie but goodie rolls out there, and you just look and say... God damn, I remember when. And let me tell you, when Nikki rolled out there, I'd never liked Nikki as a wrestler, right? I always, when they made Nikki the longest running Divas champ and all that, I'm like, man, who's she screwing to get to that? And then if we found out it was John Cena, I'm like, well, that adds up.
Dun, 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 dun.
Exactly. That made sense because John Cena held down all the talent. Lord knows he was holding Nikki Bella down too. But that's neither here nor there. But by the time Nikki got to her retirement, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go ahead and see the Bellas ride off into the sunset. I've seen enough now. But what do they always say about absence, right? It makes the heart grow fonder. It
does.
So Nikki disappeared for a little while. She's had a few marital troubles, found out she was single, kind of on the market again. Noticed maybe her flavors changed on what she's looking for and all that. All of a sudden, Nikki Bella looked awful attractive to me all over again. And I said, hey, how you doing there?
So somebody else has said, hey, how you doing? Stephanie Vaquer. She is tearing it up right now. She was the winner of the Battle Royal, and now she has a title match at Clash of the Castle in Paris.
Yep. So speaking, back to MVPs again. At this stage of the game, they got so many women that I think they're ready to graduate up. I don't know how they're going to do it with the amount that they have. I mean, you've got young up-and-comers that are ready to knock some of these old vets off the seat, and the old vets ain't ready to go yet. I mean, we just talked about Charlotte and Alexa. With the crowd of women we got in WWE's women's division now, they're old-timers. I mean, they're late 30s.
Tiffany said they're classic.
Yeah, they're on the back end now. they're Nikki Bella territory, but they're still on top. I mean, if you match them to the male side, Charlotte's the same age as Cody and Roman, right? Cody and Roman ain't trying to go nowhere, and ain't really nobody coming up to knock them off the pedestal. Well, Charlotte on the other side, she's got a lot of young bucks nipping at her heels, so she's going to have to stand up and maybe either reestablish herself or she's going to have to step aside and let somebody else take the mantle.
Let's talk about the no-holds-barred match between Jade Cargill and Naomi. Fantastic match, brawled everywhere, went into the crowd, hardcore match, brought out the toolbox.
They did.
Brought out the toolbox. But
full of tools.
Full of tools. Great match. Gave me what I wanted. Straight up hardcore match. Jade Cargill as your winner.
Queen of the Ring.
Queen of the Ring. So great match. But
Probably Jade's best looking match.
agreed.
I mean, granted, she's worked with Naomi a lot, and I'm sure they've worked together a lot off the scenes too. I'm sure they've been practicing a lot to make a good looking match. But you still got to give them the flowers when you do it because, and we're going to say this for a while, Jade's the greener of the twos, but she's the star. She's the up and comer. She's where they're going. So she needs people that are willing to work with her and willing to pull her up to make her that star. And I mean, she found the perfect dance partner in Naomi.
Speaking of perfect dance partners, match of the night, match of the year.
Could be. I mean, I was going to say, as far as women's wrestling goes, this is up there with Trish and Lita main event and Raw on their first women's main event. This is historic. This is something we ain't gonna forget no time soon.
We're gonna talk about, and look, goosebumps, as The Rock says. Goosebumps. We're gonna talk about Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley.
You didn't flex the muscle the same way The Rock does.
Brother, ain't no muscle. Ain't no muscle.
I mean, I got once. Ain't no firm it up there.
I got a table.
All right, well, true. Table smack.
So Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. Crazy good psychology in this match. When they started it off, immediately made you pay attention. I started looking at their chain. I didn't say this in the moment because I didn't want to be that dude where it was like, oh, that's a little pretentious, calling this out. But immediately, as soon as I started seeing the flow within the first 2-3 minutes of the match, I'm like, Savage, Ricky Dragon. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I'm looking at it and I'm going,
I'm not ready to call it that.
Right. Like I said, I didn't want to be pretentious, right? But you started paying attention real early on going, oh, this is going to be something special because you could just tell the way the flow of it, how it started.
Yeah.
The counters, the moves, the ref bump. And then all of a sudden Rhea hit that extra gear, ref being out, and you're going, oh, we don't ever get a ref bump in a women's match.
Yeah, it's hard to pull off.
Right. And then all of a sudden Rhea's like, ref bump, I'm going to take advantage. Then you got almost a second match within all of this.
Yep.
With both Rhea and Io being outside, going at it, all of the freaking weapons, just back and forth, the dives, the chair shot. I mean, just everything that was happening. Fantastic work between the two ladies. The story they were telling, commentary, Wade and Michael on commentary was just elevating the story because Michael was saying, Io's got her number.
Yeah.
Rhea's never beat her. And we're all sitting there feeding into it going, is it going to happen?
Yeah, this is the time.
This is the time. It's going to happen, right?
There. And we had already claimed that this was the pay-per-view that they were going to crown Rhea and really ascend her to the top.
Yep.
So we had predicted, we were bought in, and they sold us what we predicted. They didn't pull back. They weren't like, oh, you guys said it, so we're not going to give it to you. I mean, they gave us 9.5 out of 10 that we were going to get what we predicted. They, when that ref bump happened, I think everybody in the arena, everybody watching on TV is like, oh, they're going to work this into Rhea's going over huge at the end of this. But man, did they swerve the F out of us.
So you got them both on the turnbuckle, both going for the moves, everything happening. And the beauty of it all was you didn't have 772 AEW false finishes.
Absolutely not.
You had one.
Yep.
One false finish, and it was right there at the end, and you were sure Io had got her. Io had got her, and you got the one, the two. Rhea kicked out at 2.9999. I mean, it was just right there at the very last.
And I mean, at that point, anybody who's a true fan was hanging at the edge of their seat by that point. I mean, you were stunned by that point at what you were seeing, like, oh my God. But speaking about what you said, though, they didn't have the million AEW finishes or what. They also had something that AEW guys, and this isn't a knock to AEW guys, it's just they've never been trained that way, and I wish they would sit down and watch this match to learn it because it's two women that were willing to show them. Take your time.
Yeah.
It's not a
let it unfold.
It's not a race.
It's not a race.
You don't have to fit in. I know you want to get your shit in, right? That's a theme in wrestling. Everybody's got to get their shit in, right? Get it in where it fits, right? There's no reason
get in where you fit in.
In what was it on All In? A clip I saw because I didn't watch it. I saw a clip that included 700 fucking super kicks, a dozen destroyers, like dueling destroyers, dueling super kicks, 5 or 6 sitting moves, and It worked into nothing.
Right.
No pinfall came out of it. Everybody just laid there, and then they got a big, this is awesome from the fans that paid a shit ton of money to go to an event that they were sad that they went to when it was over. And give me an effing break. If they need to put all that in, you got 4 guys in there working, 4 top tier workers in there doing all that shit, and they're doing it at breakneck speed. You got 2 women on the other side taking their time, going through the motions with intent. Not just doing it to do it, but they're doing everything they do with intention. It needs to sell. I need to tell this story with this particular set of moves or whatever in the case may be. And that's why it came across so much better to me. That's why during the AEW segment, nobody said anything about match of the year, right? For you, Okada versus Omega should have been match of the year 10 times over, right? I didn't hear you say that once. I heard you say you liked it. I heard you say you appreciated it.
Right.
I heard you say it was different. I heard you say a whole bunch of stuff. I ain't hear you say at one point in time match of the weekend.
True.
More or less match of the year.
True.
But when we got to this match, because it was done with intention,
right,
and to accomplish something, not just to go out there and have a match, we're hearing conversations about match of the year.
Yep.
That's the difference between good wrestling, laid out by great coaches, producers, whatever in the hell you want to call them, and just doing something to do it.
Yep. So let's talk about the finish of this match. So after the false finish, kind of thought like, okay, so the real finish, you felt it coming. You were like, okay, it's here we go. It's either going to be Io or Rhea. Here we go. And then all of a sudden, Miss Money in the Bank, Naomi's music hits.
So unexpected.
And everybody thought, like, after the beatdown that Jade gave her, like, you're thinking,
no kidding, right?
Naomi's not going to cash in tonight. You ain't got to worry about that.
I mean, hell, when she was jogging out there, you looked at her face. You're like, oh, they're gonna swerve.
She was a mess.
I think everybody was thinking, oh, she's going to tease the cash in.
Right.
They're going to swerve us, and then the end of the match will come. I don't think anybody expected for her to actually hand over the briefcase and hear that bell ring. But my God, when it happened, what a change of dynamic.
Fantastic psychological segment to where you swerved all of us, and it was a great swerve, and Naomi cashed in to be your new WWE Women's World Heavyweight Champion.
Coming out of it, I got a lot of feedback from people, on the internet, via DMs, things like that were like, oh, I can't believe they bastardized that match by having Naomi come out and ruin it, blah, blah, blah.
Bastardize it.
I mean, so they wanted, because it was a pure wrestling match, just like Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage, you want to see a pinfall, right?
Yeah,
I get it, but what they forget about is the interference we got from George the Animal Steel and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Randy Savage.
Right.
You don't want your 2 top workers in a match like that. You don't want somebody to have to take a fall if you've got somewhere to go with those same workers, and include Naomi.
Right.
If you're done with one of them, or if somebody's going away for a while, if Rhea was going to film, I don't know, Street Fighter or something with the guys, okay, yeah, right. You'd let her take the fall, you call it one. Because that's not happening, and you've got a match that you can go into at SummerSlam, you don't want either one of them to put on a classic like that and then somebody have to lose. You want something to throw a monkey in the wrench to say, we're equals, we were both on par. Either one of us could have won until this happened. That gives us the right dynamic to move into 3 ways, and now Naomi wrestling Rhea or Naomi wrestling Io. It gives us so many different ways to branch off, with all 3 characters being there and being healthy.
And that's what it did, because on Monday Night Raw, you saw Naomi come out there and kind of give her little speech. You saw Rhea come out there, Io come out there, and then Adam Pearce basically laying the land for the 3-way match. He kind of said it's going to be Naomi versus Rhea versus Io for the Women's World Heavyweight title at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So to those people that were kind of like mad at the interference at the end of the match for Evolution, I get it, but at the same time, it's not ready for Io or for Rhea to have that last pin.
No.
In their kind of segment. It's not
at the end of the day, the story right now is Rhea can't get over Io.
Right.
So, let's be honest, Evolution was the women's pay-per-view. It was their time to shine, but it's not the ultimate pay-per-view of the year for WWE, right?
Yeah, it's not
WrestleMania. It's not 2 nights of SummerSlam. It's not any of that. It was just Evolution that had a small build to it, right?
Right.
It was what it served its purpose. It was a teaser. It was a commercial. It was things to say, hey, pay attention to our women's division because we got a little something going on over here. Keep an eye open. And now you put them on a bigger stage at SummerSlam.
All right. So now they've kind of set up themselves for the triple threat. But then, it was kind of left in the air. Well, if Becky, she was able to hang on to the IC belt, what's happening with her at SummerSlam? Well, they put Lyra Valkyria versus Bayley in a best 2 out of 3 falls.
Yep.
For Monday Night Raw. Again, stellar match.
I mean,
crazy
the women
match.
the women had the working boots on this weekend. They came out there and said,
Something
you know what?
Prove.
So what I think, if nothing else, what they showed Triple H is we deserve an Evolution next year and every year going forward.
Absolutely.
And I can remember a couple of guys talking on one of their podcasts a couple of weeks ago about the women having a possible show of their own or maybe an hour of their own on a show or something like that. Some really smart guys, right? It had to be a couple guys with a hell of a lot of foresight to see the fact that AEW's women are whatever, but WWE's women are on par with, if not surpassing, a lot of the men's wrestling.
True.
And they need to be showcased for it.
Very true. Very true. So Lyra came out the victor with 2 out of 3 falls against Bayley. She will be going back up against Becky Lynch for the women's Intercontinental belt. I'm excited for that match.
Yeah.
I've always said Becky can go in the ring. I hate Becky on the mic. I'm not a fan of Becky on the mic. I'm not a fan of Lyra on the mic.
Neither one of them. Neither one of them are great on the mic. And Becky, long time ago, needed a music change. We've talked about this forever.
She definitely needs a music
entrance should have been changed at least 3 times since her band gimmick started.
Maybe we get I Am the Real.
I mean, why not? At this point, we might as well lean all the way into it, right?
All the way
why not? Just lean, just accept it. Lean into it.
Talk about a heel move.
Oh my God. I mean, so first of all, you want to talk about getting booze. She do that and come out there and drink a real American beer.
Yes,
oh hell.
yes.
I mean, shut it down at that point.
Stone Cold, but have the real American beer.
I mean,
Absolutely.
she took the Rock's rock bottom. She could just transition right over onto the leg drop. She does a leg drop anyway.
She does.
Just go ahead and incorporate it, make it your finish.
She get the pose going.
Exactly. Lean all the way into it. Piss everybody off.
Yes.
And you know where you debut it? LA. Take it to LA and do something like that. You want to talk about heel hate? Oh hell, that's heel hate plus. All
right, so we got to talk about though what's unfolding after Seth's injury. Seth was tied up in many storylines, but apparently they kind of had to throw against the wall, see what stuck, and as Frank basically said, and I think Frank's on point, break glass scenario.
At this point, it's break glass in emergency. Yeah. They see all the injuries that are happening, all the changes that they got to make. And then you're looking at, speaking of breaking glass, you're looking at CM Punk over there in the corner like, hell, we still ain't got to his title reign.
Nope.
And with them glass knees and glass everything else he's got over there.
Get to it while the time is now.
Hell, or you may never
Strike
get
while
there.
the iron's hot.
At this stage, with everybody else getting injured, if Punk gets injured one more time, that could be the end, right? He may not come back from another bad injury. So at this point, you say, hey, everything's in a flux right now. We got to go to something we can count on. We got to go to something that's bankable. We got to go to something that's dependable. We got CM Punk over here. We ain't done his championship angle yet. Why not?
Yep. So you had the gauntlet match that was set up for the number 1 contender for Gunther's World Heavyweight Championship belt. This was obviously going to take place at SummerSlam. You had Braun Breaker basically just running roughshod on everybody. You had LA Knight in the match. You had Jey Uso in the match. And you had CM Punk in the match.
And you also had Bronson Reed in the match.
A
couple other people.
Yeah, everybody was kind of, getting involved, so to speak. Since when, though, did a gauntlet match become a no DQ?
No clue.
I don't understand that one.
All I know is when Bronson Reed strolled out there and started attacking people outside the ring and no bell was rung, I'm like, wait, what are we doing here? After the second time he came out and did it, you hear Michael Cole bell out, no gauntlet matches are no DQ. And I'm like, for real?
Yeah, so I mean, everybody's singing that song, "Making It Up as We Go."
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I think they're like, well, so I think Bronson Reed was supposed to like cheat kind of behind the ref's back.
Yeah.
But then the ref like turned around and looked dead at it and then admonished Bronson Reed for it. Didn't send him to the back, didn't kick him out, didn't DQ Braun Breaker. I think at that point, there was probably somebody in that little headset in the ref's ear like, let it go. And we'll figure it out in a minute. Then they probably radioed to Michael Cole like, hey, you think you can clean this up? And Michael Cole was probably like, no, what the hell are y'all doing? And then somebody was like, I just say it's no DQ.
Also, got to love the creative booking in this match because you got Jey Uso coming down to the ring, doing the yeet. You get Braun Breaker getting a water bottle break there, kind of in the middle, and then you get Jey doing the run it back to the ad break, doing the yeet, so Braun Breaker could get a little bit of a rest. Yeah, love that booking. That's
why not?
Right there.
They played the entrance and they worked the entrance to the end, and I'm like, Jey Uso really ran it back. When we came back from commercial, Jay's still on the turnbuckle yeeting, and I'm thinking, if Braun Breaker's over there tired and exhausted, why the hell are we yeeting over here? We could have been pinning him, and then we could have yeeted all day until the next guy strolled down, until
that
Punk
was
came.
a psychological
and we knew Punk's entrance
mistake.
was going to be forever. So, I mean, he would have had an hour to yeet.
Speaking of Punk, though, Punk gets in the ring finally as the last competitor against Braun Breaker. You get in there, you get him going. Obviously, we knew it was going to kind of be Punk winning the match, right?
Break glass in emergency.
Break glass in emergency. You get, after he wins, you get the beat down coming on. Then all of a sudden, Jey Uso comes out there to save his friend. That beat down starts happening.
So did Jey come out there to save his friend, or did Jey come out there to eat them tsunamis that they didn't want Punk to eat?
Yeah, Jey come out there to eat them tsunamis.
Yeah, because I'm like, if Punk gets hit with 2 tsunamis, that's it for that angle. Then Punk's out. And now we got the Money in the Bank holder gone and the damn number 1 contender injured. They were like, nah, hell, we keep Punk as least physical as possible. We got to get him out of this healthy.
Yep. So you get all of that going on. The beat downs are happening, and then out of nowhere you heard... Dun, dun.
Then you saw a lot of ones go up.
A lot of ones go up in the crowd. And your tribal chief won.
Yep.
Not your OTC.
Yeah, OTC won.
Not your QB won, but your tribal chief won.
Yeah, he's OTC won. And I'm like, what are we doing here with this? Okay, but why not?
Wanders down to the ring, lays the proverbial smackdown on everybody in the ring, picks Jey up, and we end Monday Night Raw with him and Punk in a stare down.
Yep.
Where is this going?
I mean, they've got a real intertwined story, and all the while they're doing the stare down, over in the corner on the opposite side of the ring, you got Paul Heyman just looking up at both guys in awe.
Oh my God.
Exactly, just in amazement, like he has no idea what's
Paul
happening.
Bearer. Oh my God.
I mean, so Paul Heyman's almost the size of Paul Bearer. That's neither here nor there. Well, I digress.
So we alluded to this earlier in where is this going? Where is Roman going? Where is Punk going? Punk is going to face Gunther for the belt at SummerSlam. I predict Punk is going to win that belt.
Yeah.
Punk's going to win that belt. Punk's going to be your champion coming out of SummerSlam. I also predict Cody is not going to win at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure why they're doing him and John at SummerSlam. I think they did let themselves fall victim to expectation.
Yep, I think that was supposed to be your main event.
Exactly. I think so many people have banked on Cena and Rhodes doing SummerSlam. I think that they're like, hey, we got both guys healthy. This is what we've been counting on for a while. I think they're just going to go through with it. But I also agree. I don't think Cody wins it back at SummerSlam. Because if he does, then what the hell do we do with John Cena for 3 months?
Yep.
We've still got 12, I think, opportunities for John to come back for the rest of the year.
Yep.
We ain't doing that without the title. We could ride that thing out till November. We can get Survivor Series out of John Cena if we do it right. We don't take the title off of him at SummerSlam.
Yep.
Plus, OTC finally returned, right? So it's not like you only got one guy that's vying for that championship that's a credible threat to John Cena. Now you're back to 2, and that's different.
Here's what could happen. Here's the little tease that I was throwing up. You're not going to like it.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Know you're not going to like it. Here's the little tease that I was throwing up, though. I don't think Roman's going to immediately get back into the title picture.
No, I agree there. I think he's got to do this thing with Jey for a while.
I think he's going to do the thing with Jey.
I think that might actually grow.
I think it might grow. I think you're going to get potentially all the way to the Rumble before you get Roman back in the title picture.
I don't see the Rumble now, right?
Yep.
So I do see War Games rolling around.
Unless we do a day one event again.
There could be that, but I do see Survivor Series rolling around. I see War Games being involved. Roman's kind of been the king of that for the last 3 years, so I feel like he's also going to be in that bloodline related again. I think before they were probably going to try and do like Seth's group against Roman's quote unquote new group or whatever. I think that's in the shit can right now with all of Liv's plans. Now they might have to transition over to Solo's group against Roman. You know, we may have to do Bloodline versus Bloodline yet again. But I mean, there's an entirely new cast of characters in it, so it won't be old.
The same, yeah.
At that point, it'll be fresh enough that they can get away with it. But if they're smart, I think that's where they pivot to. But I don't think they go much farther than that with Roman in that storyline. I think after that, it's straight Roman to the title.
Where I think it may be going, though, Roman carries it all the way to the Rumble, wins the Rumble. Roman wins the Rumble. Punk's still carrying the title. Come WrestleMania, Roman calls out Punk as his shot at WrestleMania. I think you're going to see Roman versus Punk main eventing night 2 of WrestleMania.
So you think that's the big dog?
That's the big match because I think Punk is still chasing the main event. He said he main evented night 1. Now he's got a main event night 2. That's what
True,
he says.
but so at this point, let me just before we go too far, I want to talk it through. At this point, you're considering the World Heavyweight Championship the main event of night 2.
Which my podcast partner Frank said that we got to put some legitimacy on that belt somewhere.
Yeah, but so my question is, are we thinking that because at that point because it's Roman and we think Roman is the main event regardless of title?
Correct.
Or
correct.
So there's a caveat. Don't say correct yet because you might like where I'm going with this better than what you just heard. Or are we thinking the World Heavyweight title will be the main event of WrestleMania because there ain't no WWE Championship anymore? WWE Championship.
Now you picking up what I'm putting down.
WWE Championship, if I had my way in it, will be gone by December and it will disappear off into the sunset.
Now you picking up what I'm putting down.
We could main event night 1 with a new championship being debuted and won. Let's not call it the Universal title, though. I'm just saying, if we're gonna do something, let's not fuck it up no more than we need to, right?
But anyhow, so you get Roman versus CM Punk for the belt night 2 with a healthy surprise return of Seth Rollins to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase because it will still be valid come WrestleMania.
It definitely will. It's valid to, I mean, Paul Heyman made a point last night of saying, or on Monday night, of saying it's valid to June. He made a point of clearing that up.
That wasn't said for any other purpose than I think that potential WrestleMania cash in.
Yeah, right. And Seth even said he hopes to be back by Mania. So, I mean.
So could you then get at Backlash your return match of Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns?
You could definitely see that again, but I don't necessarily see Roman winning the title to get cashed in on. I feel like if that's the way they're going to go.
Roman's not going to get cashed in. Roman's not going to win the title at WrestleMania.
Okay, so
Seth is going to win the title. He's going to pin CM Punk because the rivalry, even though we want to say the rivalry is between Roman and Seth, no. The rivalry is now between Punk and Seth. They are caught up in a rivalry just like Hangman and Swerve was caught into.
They are.
I'm not going to let you win the belt. That's the whole thing.
They are, and I see that. But so my understanding from what I've heard from a lot of backstage sources is that Roman was only brought back. He was supposed to be brought back at Saturday Night's main event just to pick up the feud with Seth.
And that's where I think they pivoted.
Yeah, at that point, I was going to say, if they don't end up putting the title on Roman at WrestleMania, that means they're pivoting a long way the way around. So
right. I think they got to pivot that long way around because they don't know what's going to happen with Seth.
Yeah,
Seth is legitimately hurt.
Well, I mean, at this stage, he's supposed to be going to see Dr. James Andrews in about a week or two because he was supposed to have gone and got scoped this, I think Monday he said, but apparently his knee was too swollen to actually get scoped. So now they got to wait a week or two to figure out what's going on. And
there's the politicking.
Yeah, there you go. All of that leads me to believe that Seth basically lost a smile when he heard that Roman was coming back. And that's what we're dealing with right now. But we'll entertain whatever story WWE takes us on.
All right, so your boys put in a extra long, supersized, really, really long 84-minute episodes.
It was busy.
It was busy.
We had a long weekend, so a whole lot of wrestling going on.
So look, we appreciate all of you sticking out to the end of this. If you made it to the end, drop us a line on the social media platforms and put in the word hashtag your boys.
There you go.
Put it in
we
there.
Put the work in for you. We show up when we need to. Last couple of weeks we've been complaining about, man, wrestling's kind of getting stale. Wrestling's kind of hit a stagnant point, having a little fatigue going on. Well, they put some energy in you boys this week. They filled the gas tank up with premium, and we tried to deliver with every ounce of it for y'all. So 80, you said 85 minutes?
85
That's
minutes,
the longest
sir.
episode we've ever done. So we're giving y'all all we got. We ain't got no more. We done both went through two glasses
of our
so I mean, hell yeah, the
whiskey.
sponsor's half gone. A freshly cracked open bottle, half gone. My voice is still going strong, but my brain is juggling right now. And if I'm thinking right, what time is it? So behind the scenes, it's 9:00 on a Wednesday. That means we're an hour deep into AEW. Ain't watching that.
That.
Coming out of All In, though, I do want to watch the episode because I do want to see kind of where they go from here.
Yep.
So I may not get it all in tonight, obviously, now, but I will watch. And hopefully we've got something good to give you guys for the next episode, whenever the hell that may be.
Yeah, you might not get one next week. We'll see. But at that, we will thank you for listening to our episode. We thank you guys so much for everything you do. And with that, everybody, we bid you adieu.
Peace. So we're not doing another episode.
Today's podcast was produced by SBP. You can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. Also, connect with us on our social media accounts. Search for The Bookers Alliance on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X.